Hi, this is Peter from Indoor Air Professionals. We have been in the indoor air quality business for 28 years now. So our objective here today is to do an independent product review with the Germ Guardian Purification 3-in-1 system. And we have no affiliation to the manufacturer here. We bought this product on Amazon because we got a lot of customers that asked us to review this particular product. So I'm gonna unbox this for the first time here. We have a razor knife, so it's the typical clear tape on the top here. We're gonna get this thing open and out of the box. And our goal today is to test this with a laser particle counter. And you can see it's got a nice little thank you card here. Once again, we have not seen at all what this is about. And here's the instruction manual. We usually just discard that for now because we want to just see if we can open this up and plug it and play it with our manly intuition. So, taking this out of the box, we got a bag here, and voila, it's pretty light, so that is something that may be helpful for some people. So this looks like the unit here, and we immediately want to get this thing plugged in and running. So we're going to safety make sure that our box cutter is in the lock position. And so the first thing when we're going to plug this in is we're going to test what the wattage is, okay? So I am going to, ooh, look at this. It has a nice little plastic cover on here. And we're going to put that aside and we're plugging this in. Now we're going to turn on the unit. It's got a, looks like a 4-speed up here. So we're going to go on the first setting here. And so being familiar with some air purifications, there's usually an intake and an output. So based on what we have here, I am thinking that this is the output. Yeah, I can feel air coming out of here. So we're going to test what the particle reduction is here. So we're turning on, this is a laser particle counter, and it measures 1 cubic feet of air volume, and it measures 0.3 to 2.5 micron particles, which are very small. Just to give you an idea, there's about 75 to 100 microns in one human hair. So the reason we measure the very small particles is because that is what gets by our built-in defense mechanisms like our nasal hairs and lung membrane and all that. So we're going to engage the particle counter. We're going to go away from the machine since it's been running. And we usually see, it's purging right now, we usually see particles in the 80,000 to 500,000 range indoors. So there you have it, somehow split in the middle there with about 250,000 or 250,000 of those pesky small particles. So that's what we have in the room air here. And let's bring this over to the clean air output of the machine. And we usually hold it right up to the grill because we do this in all our testing. And we can see that in the first sample it dropped it down to 140,000 on low, and there we have a reading of 99,000. And there's a reading to 103,000. So we're bouncing around a little bit here. Now keep in mind, there's 113,000. This is on the low setting. So let's crank it up here in all fairness and go to the medium setting and see if we get any more droppage here. So it's showing 102,000 and 114,000. Let's see if we can move down here, find a sweet spot. 94,000, that's one of the lowest readings. We saw 99 before. There's 50,000. Okay, there's 44,000. 48. So I'm going to say that this is going to overall took the room from 250,000 down to about 40,000 here. Okay, so that is pretty much our particle test. No, we're seeing 34. It's still going down here. 36,000 and 31,000. That's the lowest we've seen. 29. 34. Okay, I'm going to say that we got readings as low as 34,000 here, 40,000. So we're going to turn this off for now, and at the same time we are seeing that we're using 40.9 watts of energy on the medium setting. Now let's go back to the low setting for now, and we're showing that it's dropping down to about 35, 36 watts of output, and we'll go back to medium, and we're up to 40,000, and now we're going to go to high. Now some of you might be wondering why we didn't test the particles on high. And the reason is because generally with all machines it creates more of a venturi, so we actually get higher readings. We will come back to that as we fully explore this unit more. The other thing that we want to test is the overall noise of the machine. So this is a digital dB meter. So we're going to turn this on here and stop talking. So we're going to work, I'm going to turn the machine off for just a minute here. So that's what peace and quiet sounds like now that we're starting to talk. You can see normal talking here is in the 60 to 70 dB range. So we have a baseline. Let's go to back to the machine. We'll do low first. So we're getting about mid-50s. Now my voice is affecting it, so we have low 50s for, it's very quiet on low. Now it's on medium. About 62, 64 dB in there, and then high. About 68 dB. So that goes through the range of the noise levels. We're going to set this aside for a minute. And then finally, the size of the unit is we have, it stands about 21.5 inches tall, not quite, and at the highest, yeah, about 21.5 inches with the control there, and it is about 10, 11 inches from back to front, and it is narrow, about 6 inches in width. So it's a pretty compact machine, and if I recall, it covers about 167 square feet of area according to the manufacturer. A couple other things that we want to talk about is the ease of operation, and you can see here the control is pretty simple. That's medium again, low, and off. Now there's another button up here, and we're assuming that this, it says UV, so we are aware that there's a form of ultraviolet in this machine. So we're going to press this and see what happens. Oh, so when I press it on, we can see the bulb come on here. So realistically, in all fairness, we probably want to repeat the particle count because that may be changed by the ultraviolet. Though from our experience, ultraviolet is mostly used or talked about in the germ killing, the killing or reduction of bacteria, mold, and virus. So let's see what happens with the particles back to the, with the ultraviolet on. We're purging the machine once again. And we're getting a reading of 203,000, 217,000. So let's come back over to the machine on medium. And before, remember, we saw readings as low as about 30,000. So right now, what's coming out of there is a couple 100,000, 145,000, 130,000. Remember, it was very slow to drop when it got there's under 100,000. That's, there we go, back to 41,000, 45,000, 47,000. So initially, it doesn't really appear that the ultraviolet is changing the particle. There's one lower, 37, but we still haven't gotten back to what we saw the lowest was about 29,000. Now let's just see what happens when we turn the unit onto high and see if we get any different particle readings. 41,000, 50,000, 50,000. So what I said before is relatively accurate in that when you get most of the machines on high with the particle counter pressed against the clean air output of the machine, creates like a venturi, so you don't get the lowest particle counts as you would on a medium or lower setting. So at any rate, we have concluded that the ultraviolet light doesn't change the particle at all, and that the medium setting is the best setting for this particular particle test. As with all units, the more you can tolerate it on high, the more that it should filter more particulate and do its job as an air purifier. So we can kind of see the ease of maintenance here, or the ease of operation. As far as maintenance, we're going to see about what we can do to access the filters, which need to be changed. So I'm going to turn the machine back on medium. Looks like there's an opening in the back here, so let's just turn it off. And you can see that our wattage goes off. The next thing we want to talk about is the ease of maintenance. So let's turn it back on medium. And usually with these machines, as soon as you start to disassemble it, it should have a safety switch. So I'm going to guess that that's the case with this. I see a button here, a lever. I'm just going to go, there it is. So as soon as we start to disassemble the unit, the safety switch kicks in and disables the power, which is a great feature. So we're going to set this aside here, and it looks like we have a couple filters here, and I'm just going to carefully pull this out. This looks like a main filter. Obviously this is claims to be a HEPA unit, which means that it should be 99.97% efficient up to 0.3 microns. This has a pre-filter, which looks like some form of carbon here. And yes, indeed, it is Velcroed on. So oftentimes, once again, just from familiarity with these machines, this might be durable enough to wash with just water in a slop sink, or vacuum with a HEPA filtered vacuum. Generally, these HEPA filters are very delicate, so I am not sure whether or not you would vacuum these, but we'll find out when we read the instructions. But at any rate, I am just going to put the unit back together the way it was. Just press the pre-filter onto the carbon, or onto the HEPA filter, and we're going to place this back in. I think we can see the one of the safety switches is here. I'm assuming the other one is activated when we put the cover back on. So this is going to go back in the way we found it, and I am sure that we could vacuum inside there, but let's see what the manufacturer has to say about that. Putting the unit back together, and it comes back on. Once again, we have ultraviolet light here. When we press the button, that turns on the ultraviolet light. The other category we would like to talk about is the warranty. This unit says that it is warranted for 3 years, which is a substantial warranty for a product like this. And we're also told that the filter replacement costs are $30 approximately. So once again, I'm just going to quickly demonstrate how easy this is. We pull this out here. So it looks like this HEPA filter would be replaced for $30. And generally, it's on an annual basis. But what you really need to be aware of with any air purifier is, what are you using it for? When people use it for especially smoking, which is one of the harshest things because it's heavy particulate combined with 272 different chemicals. So a smoking, you would be changing it far more frequently than if you used it just for everyday living with healthy people. Okay, if you have people with severe asthma, allergies, sinus, then of course you would be replacing the filter more there. So interval is a huge variable, but as we said, we were indicated that the costs were about $30 on this machine. This unit is, first of all, the manufacturer, the company is based in Ohio, but it is manufactured in China, okay? And we, right now, one of the other concerns we have is, does it produce any ozone? And at this juncture, we are not able to test that because that requires the unit to be in a overnight with one of the products that we use is Aircuity. So we're going to bypass the whether it produces ozone or not at this point, okay? It doesn't smell like it does at this point. You know, we can kind of get a whiff, but that's really not how we measure stuff. We use all instrumentation, as we've shown before, especially this handy dandy tape measure, very accurate device. The laser particle counter measuring down to 0.3 to 2.5 microns, and of course the decibel meter. The other thing is does it have an auto power on feature? So what we're going to do here is simulate the fact that the power goes off. So we're turning off the power strip and it goes off, and now we're going to turn the power back on. And certainly it comes back on. It's a beautiful thing. In fact, it's nice to see it surged a little with the decibel, or I'm sorry, with the watt meter there. And, oh, okay. We needed to reset that. Sorry about that. And, all right. Does it have a night light? We would have to turn, there is a power light here, and of course, with the ultraviolet light engaged, we're assuming that that is going to be a night. Do we want to simulate the lights out? No, okay. And is there an air monitoring feature? This is considered the control panel up here, and I don't see anything here other than it clearly shows you that the ultraviolet is on or off with a click of a switch. You can hear that when we turn it on high, it's louder, medium, low, very quiet. Let's just make sure there's not any other sensors or anything on the bottom, just standard labels on the bottom here. And it actually has a caution sticker on here as well. It says disconnect power cord before servicing. Of course, that is a safety precaution because it does have the auto power off when we disable when we start to take the unit apart, and it goes back on. And the other thing is are you able to control this through an app or cell phone? And we haven't read the instructions yet, so we don't know. We're assuming not, because there would be some type of pairing button in the control panel in order to make that happen. So at this point, we would like to thank you for watching our video on just a simple unboxing and a couple of the basic tests on the Germ Guardian 3-in-1 system, HEPA filtered air purifier. The unit, once again, was purchased on Amazon for approximately $89. I believe the retail is about $100 on this unit. And if you liked what you saw here today, please subscribe to our channel and click the like button below. And if you have any comments at all or would like us to see us test or demo a unit that maybe you're interested in or any other products, please call us and let us know. And you can reach us at 800-683-0021, extension 303. Once again, that's 800-683-0021, or you can go to our website at indoorAirPro.com, and you can leave a message there as well. And we just want to thank you for your time in watching this video where we have demonstrated and done some simple testing on the Germ Guardian 3-in-1 system.